This is the Three Skeevers podcast.
All right, episode 12 of the Three Skeevers podcast with Grim from Grim's Forge Gaming and myself, Icy, with Icyfire Gaming. How you doing, Grim?
Good. How are you?
Good. I almost forgot how to do the intro because we've had such a long break since the last episode. But would you like to tell everybody what we're going to be talking about this episode?
Yeah, today we are going to do a Christmas wish list. So if ZOS or Microsoft or whoever is in charge, developers, whoever it is, here's our Christmas wish list of what we would like to see happen in ESO before new content is released.
Yes. I'll let you. So what's first on your list?
So the first thing, I mostly PvP. I do PvE in between my PvP stints, but it's all down in Imperial City, if that makes sense. So I'm killing mobs and killing banners, killing bosses as I'm looking for players. There are times where I run past all that stuff to go hunt players or hunt groups, but for the most part, I just turn some music on and run around, kill mobs until I run into a group of players and then try and kill them. But because of that, non-performance has been rough, and I take it a little bit. It frustrates the heck out of me. There's not a lot of things that really frustrate me in this life, but non-performance is one of them. So I'd have to say my first two things. The very first one's break free. They need to do something to address break free. And for some people, it's not a problem at all. But everyone that I know that PvPs regularly, it's a constant problem for them. And I've tried assigning it to different buttons. I've put it on my mouse scroll wheel. So when you scroll down, you get 10 clicks of break free, pop, 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 and still can't break free. So it's very frustrating. Somehow they need to fix break free, and I don't know what that is gonna be. And
yeah, I wish there was a way to consistently reproduce that.
Yeah.
Because I know from my personal experience, because I use a controller, very rarely does it happen to me. So I know I can't really speak on that side of it, but. Yeah. I still say we need to conduct one of those experiments where I'm just CCing you constantly. Well, we'll do like 20 CCs or something, and how many actually you cannot break free from, and then we'll do the same thing to me, and then just do a stare compare and see how often it actually happens. That's probably the best way to do it instead of just going out and about doing our thing and then just getting hit with it in the wilds.
Yeah. And that might be something as well. You said that you don't have a problem on a controller, and I'm playing mouse and keyboard. And so that kind of comes to one of my other things that we'll get to. But anyways, there might be something there. When we get to that, I'll bring that back up. But yeah, so break free is my first one, and then bar swapping is my second one. And I made my bar swapping very easy. It's just a flick up on the mouse wheel. I roll the mouse wheel up, and he switches to, front bar or back bar. And same deal with that. When you roll with, just one extension of your finger, it will click probably 5 or 6 times to actually bar swap, and it wasn't working. I had previously had it set up for just a single button push, bar swap, bar swap, bar swap, and it wasn't working. I would be sitting here just and nothing happening. And so that happened to me last night. I was up in the districts, running through the districts, heading to one of the sewer entrances, and an AD, it was just a 1v1, and he shield charges into me, stuns me, and as soon as I break free, I cannot bar swap. So he kills me and then bags me. And it's
classic.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you. So we made sure we killed him 3 or 4 times that day, but Yeah, those things frustrate me. Non-performance.
Mm.
You know, not even be able to do the most simplest of things, breaking free or bar swapping. So,
Yeah.
what do you got?
Ooh. Well, I guess on my list, or one of my things is, since I've been down in the sewers for so long, I would. This is just going to be a bug fix where in the second zone on EP side, if you're with 1, 2, 3 members in your party, there is a high chance that they will appear as just like a random guy that you're just passing through in the sewers, as if they're not in your party when they actually are. So if you have 4 guys in your party, you might only see one of them. And when
Yeah.
I say you might only see one of them, I mean you can only see their health bars on
Yeah.
your actual screen. So the other 2 guys, you really won't know where they are unless you have your mini map, always on screen, even when you're on combat, to help you figure out what the heck is, where your teammates at. So,
And how
and
long has that been a problem?
it's been 1 full year since I've been down the sewers, and it's been present the entire time.
Yeah.
And I know I personally have submitted several tickets on this thing, and this is just, I think it's a small ask. I mean, I'm just a player, but so what do I know? I think it's a small ask, but who knows? So that's one of my things that I would like addressed for 2021 sometime there. What about you?
Same. So that it's the second wing specifically. So if you're coming from EP base, Ebonheart Pack base, and you run down all the way through the sewers and you go to the next door to the second wing, it's that second wing of the sewers that's messed up on EP side. And if you're in a group with somebody, you can't tell that you are, and in some cases you can't see their body. It's almost like they're instanced out. So
And it's easily reproducible
oh yeah, we could
because
go right
yeah,
now
it
and
happens every time.
every time, every single time. Yep. And likewise, I think, and it's probably something along those same lines, but it's the second wing of, is it AD side?
Yes.
Yeah, second wing of AD side. You don't have that problem, but the banner that patrols that area is
It'll
bugged
glitch
out.
out. Yeah,
It'll
glitched out, bugged out.
it'll be standing just staring at a wall, and you'll just see it and you're like, okay, that's weird. And then if you want to fight the banner, you'll try and target him. Well, he's not even really there.
It's like he left an after image of
Yeah.
where he would be, but really he's actually underneath the tunnel on the left side.
Yeah. So if you just walk down into the tunnel, like if you were to walk down there, it looks like nobody's there. You walk through the tunnel and all of a sudden you aggro him. And so his image is not attached to his being.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And until he aggros, and then all of a sudden he does this like fast run or walk to combat wherever you're at, and like then everything kind of comes together. So
Yeah. And I guess also something I know that we found out this morning, which, I had Veronica check for me if there's any note mention of this in the patch notes or anything, but it looks like they actually reduced the detection size of the banners.
yeah.
And I'm not even sure like who else might have even noticed this, because I know we're down there a lot. So it's a noticeable change in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. It's way easier to sneak past them, or not that we sneak past them, but it's way easier to sneak past them now. Whereas before, there were rooms that if they would walk into, you had to scoot all the way up and find a little divot or a little area in the wall that you could actually step off, or you were going to aggro.
Yeah, like you had to be either or just hugging the wall completely and just not moving until it passed you by.
Yeah. Yeah. And for us, it's not that big of a deal, but it's noticeable. And we were running around earlier today, and there was a group of three EP or 4 EP just getting their face kicked in by a banner, and Icy's like, nothing to see here, and we just kept running. Like we totally could have we could have jumped in and saved, maybe not saved them, but we could have finished the banner off, and we were just like, good luck.
Well, I figured if they were having such a hard time killing that banner, why don't we just go ahead of them, kill the banner that they would eventually run into, so that they don't have that much of an issue having to find a second one.
We were doing a public service then.
Public service, yeah, and they're not going to learn anything if we help them all the time.
This is true.
So it's one way. It's one way on how I like to give back to the community. Oh! Speaking of giving back, I think we need to give our buddy Bacon a shout out.
Yeah, we do. So I want to thank our buddy Bacon. He's in the Discord with us, and he and his son. He's got a 10-year-old son that really likes the theme builds that I do through Grimsforge Gaming. And I got to talk to his son a couple nights ago. He put his son on, and he said, "Hey, I really like the Thanos and the Wonder Woman and the Mandalorian. Thanos and Mandalorian are his favorites, so I need to get another Mandalorian build out." But anyways, it was really cool. He loves the builds and stuff like that, and he's going to start playing ESO, so that's cool. Hopefully we can get the game, hopefully our wish list gets answered. But anyways, Bacon gave both Icy and I a Christmas present. So, and for me, it's going to help me be able to get builds done because it's very expensive to do builds. As a matter of fact, if you've seen my Hulk Smash video that's got the 3 different builds in it, just that video cost me 3 million gold.
Jesus.
Yeah, 3 million gold. And so I had to farm my tail off, and I had to, in the process of testing the build and non-performance and things like that, just the level of frustration trying to test the build, not being able to break free, not being able to bar swap, and then spending the amount of, all of this work to get the money together, to put the builds together, to, get the video up, to have a handful of people just give it a thumbs down and be like, that's dumb, bro. I clapped that, bro. So it's just like, anyways, thank you, Bacon. Thank you so much for the Christmas gift. And I'm working on a build that we last spoke about, and we'll get that build up for you guys. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Bacon, we appreciate your support. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay. And since we're talking about banners, this will be my last banner wish list. Can we get the sounds back, please?
Yeah, the heartbeat or the breathe,
I think it's like I think it's breathing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because right now you either have to have your audio extremely high up and maybe you'll still hear it, but even then, even if it was really low, you knew they were coming from about a room and a half away. But now it's, oh, oops, ran into one, didn't even know it was there. So
yeah.
that kind of stinks.
I do think they should put some other freaky sounds down there too. I can't remember the name of the game, and if anybody that's listening to this remembers the name of the game, post the name of the game in the comments. But there's a enemy player or enemy character in the game called a witch, and she's stationary for the most part. She just sits in an area hidden and cries. And as you get,
I said, "Oh my goodness!" I don't know what you're talking about, but this sounds kind of interesting and scary at the same time.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. And so that was one of the things. Like, you're going through, you have your flashlight, and the thing is, if you shine your flashlight on her, she freaks out and she'll just straight wreck you. But the second you hear a crying off in the distance, you're like, oh, it's a witch. And now all of a sudden, every little turn that you do and every little everything, you're like, oh crap, it's getting louder. I'm getting closer to her. Don't shine the flashlight at her. But if you guys know what game that was, but that sound effect and hearing it as you're getting closer was awesome. It was awesome. So that's all I got to say about that. They need to add, there should be some chains and some crying and random screaming. I know they do have some of the zombies or ghosts like run towards the front of the cage and stick their arms out and scream, and I think that stuff's cool. They should accentuate that. So
Yeah, the EP side, the third zone.
yeah, very cool. And then like
Yeah.
Blood Mist area over there on DC side where everybody farms over there.
Mhm.
That's pretty cool. I noticed that the AI, there are some just regular mob Nightblades now that will stun you from stealth, and I noticed that the banners now dodge roll some attacks. Not the banners, but the bosses. So Wadraki, if you wind up a heavy attack on him, he'll dodge roll the heavy attack sometimes.
Mm.
Yeah, new thing. I hadn't seen that before.
And no mention at all in the patch notes or anything like that.
Yeah. It's maybe once a fight. Once a fight, he'll dodge roll. Like if you're lining up a big heavy attack or something like that. And I'm just like, well, there's something new. I haven't seen that before. Has it always been here? Because I've never seen it. So
Yeah. And it almost makes me want to think that they're not doing anything new, and that's why it's not in the patch notes. I feel like it's just always been there, but the game is just all over the place now. Like, who knows what's actually going on?
it's like they're getting smarter.
Because the game is degrading, everything's just things that were supposed to be happening that were never happening are actually working now.
Yeah.
Just a thought. But okay, and it also gave me another idea for the banner thing with the sounds and stuff. I was going to mention this for my Molag Ball wish list, but well, I'll tell you the Molag Ball thing. Whenever Molag Ball spawns in the middle, I feel like there should be an announcement, at least at a minimum, to everybody in that zone of middle, right? So once you go through the fourth door from any of the bases heading towards middle, if
Yeah.
you're anywhere in there and someone is fighting Molag Ball, there should be some sort of notification that tells you, hey, somebody's fighting Molag Ball. Maybe you should check it out and see what's going on. Or similar to how there's cross swords whenever there's a fight going on somewhere on the map, I feel like there should be cross swords with either Molag Ball, so people know, like, hey, there's actually a fight going on there. Let me go and check it out. And or with banners as well. I think that would be pretty neat. So you can see on the map, hey, somebody just killed the banner here. Maybe they're still around. Maybe it was an AD. Maybe it was a DC. Let's go check it out and see if we get ourselves a little wrestling match, you know?
Yeah. Wrestling. Let's go
Wrestling. Old school.
Yeah.
So
Or
I
when you do the announcement for the 15 minutes until maintenance,
mhm.
why not just do the air around you grows extremely cold, you sense the presence of extreme evil. Something.
Oh, like or that happens when somebody that isn't you. So say you start a fight with the ice banner, right? And then because I'm still and I just step out base, we're all in the first zone, but you're somewhere else in the first zone area. You're fighting the ice banner somewhere. Then anybody who's also in that zone gets hit with that notification. So which will tell you, okay, somebody is fighting the ice banner, and it doesn't, but you just know it's in your zone somewhere. So then that'll kind of prompt you to go and check it out and maybe get a fight going.
Yeah.
I think that would be kind of cool. So you get notifications when people are fighting banners, so that it's a volatile situation.
Yeah.
And you're gonna make it worse.
That'll be fun. And so we like the PvP, but we're talking PvE aspects within PvP, right? And but that's the big difference between Cyrodiil for the most part and Imperial City is Cyrodiil, you'll jump on your mount, you'll go siege a keep, take the keep, flip the resources, and it's your interaction with NPCs are going to be killing the guards at those locations. But
it's kind of like our version of that, just down in the sewers.
Yeah. So another thing too about the banners is the banners are some of the biggest culprits for causing clipping issues. and clipping issues, or I don't know what you want to call it, but I've got a video of me falling through the floor and being stuck under. It's my video that says you can't use this item while swimming. You know,
Classic.
yeah, I ended up down there because I've just blocked an attack from the banner and fell through the floor. And then the banner proceeded to step right over the top of me. And, and I couldn't, I tried
It,
to log
it,
out.
if they could crouch, I'm sure they would have been teabagging you the whole time.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was funny. I wanted to make sure I looked up. Yeah. But I mean, so the banners are some of the biggest culprits for clipping issues, falling through floors, or you block an attack and then you just start flying off into nothingness, like across the map. I have a Kratos video of that. We were outside DC base. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And I block an attack and I just go flying. And so I use that, I believe I can fly, as I'm flying off, And so, the thing about it is, it may or may not actually be a clipping issue. It may be the same thing that's happening to the banners. The banner's image is here, but its actual presence or its actual body is hidden and in that tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I noticed, like with Vodic, when I was doing the Anthrax build video, and I just go flying off the map, in Imperial City up in the districts.
That's the one you got copyright claimed, right?
Yeah,
for using like 5 seconds or something.
I used 5 seconds, or 10 seconds of a song, and I got copyright claim for it. But yeah, I have a feeling that on the other two guys' screens that I was with, that Vodic was still standing there at the guards on the flag. I have a feeling to them I was still standing there, but on my screen I'm floating off into nothingness, And so I don't know what's going on with that, but needs to be fixed.
Yeah, I notice situations like that happening when we're both streaming on Discord, and I have your stream up on one of my monitors, and then obviously my game is up on my monitor, so I can see what's going on from your point of view as well as also playing from mine. And I know that I'm ahead of you, but then in your screen, as I look to my left, I'm behind you from your perspective. And it just makes me think, well, who's right?
That is probably the root of the evil in a lot of things. A lot of things in battlegrounds and when you're fighting somebody and stuff. Think about the communication time. The player activates the button activation travels to their server, and then you actually see the activity happen. Or I don't know exactly how it's happening, but communication time. And I have to think that is part of it too. Well, I'm running off this way, you're running off that way too, but who's actually in front of who knows?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if we were enemies and you were obviously chasing me, but and we say this was just a test scenario, right? Where in my screen, I'm in front of you. In your screen, I'm behind you. So then you have your back now facing me on my screen. You start to de-swing my character on your screen that's behind you. And from my screen, it looks like you're de-swinging in a different direction, but you're still hitting me.
Yeah.
What the heck is that?
Yeah.
This is all just theoretical, of course, but I have a feeling that I would still be getting hit in those situations.
Yeah, it's weird. And maybe that's what caused how long ago was the dueling tournament?
The last one was in November.
Yeah, so
the one with Northold, right?
Yeah, so in November I recorded the dueling tournament that I was in, because I don't do dueling tournaments often, and I want to go back and watch, and kind of pick it apart. But there were 2 instances where I couldn't break free at all. One of them, I just couldn't break free. But then there was an instance where I was hitting D-swing and it wasn't working. And then in a millisecond, 3 D-swings went off, just bang, bang, bang. There was no delay between them. It was literally just rip, rip, rip. Wasn't it 3 or 2?
I think it was a double.
It was a double.
It was a
Yeah.
double, yeah.
Because it was
And I thought, wow, Grim, I know you've been on vacation, but you came back with some new moves.
Yeah, it was the 12K. It was just bang, bang, instantaneous back to back. And while that's cool, that's great. Like, that's not supposed to be, you know? And so that's an issue, not being able to break free and then whatever's going on. So maybe D-swing hanging up, getting stuck in the golf swing part of it. Maybe that's part of it too. Like, you know, on my screen, the guy's right in front of me. On his screen, he's already strafed around me. And so D-swing doesn't know what to do. Like, we were going to fire, but there's nobody there. So,
Yeah, because I know, having fought some people, I'll see people D-swinging, not actually facing me, because I'll loop around them or something, but they're still hitting me, even though they're facing a different direction.
yeah.
But obviously, I know how things are where, oh yeah, I'm standing right in front of you, but obviously you're, or they'll tell me that they're standing right in front of me, but I can see that they're not. They're like off a little bit, whatever. But on their screen, they're directly in front of me. So I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very strange. So that might be the root of some of the evil. And does that come down to your ping, your latency, which you can see on my videos down in the bottom left, you know?
Mhm.
So I don't know.
I wouldn't mind trying to help out or something, trying to recreate these problematic situations and from a client or a customer. Obviously, that's all I can do. I'm not a programmer or anything, but I feel like I wouldn't mind helping out in this type of thing.
Yeah, me neither. Maybe that's what we should do, is do a video of each one of these instances that we're talking about. Here's an example of me not being able to break free, you know.
Yeah, honestly, that would actually maybe even be more productive. For example, those situations where we're getting glitched through a wall from a banner, specifically the sorting board with the lava whip, or the the knockback one that the two-hander does.
Yeah.
Maybe we just kind of do that for a while and just try to actually try to consistently reproduce it, and then we have something to submit. That actually might be a fun little project.
Yeah, I do have video footage of me blocking that whip and still flying through the air or maybe it was a two-hander, flying through the air with Kratos. So I have that clip that I could just go back to.
But I'm saying we have to consistently reproduce it.
Yeah.
Because I know it doesn't happen all the time, and I do know when I do get hit with the lava whip, I kind of get a little scared, because I'll think, oh, please don't go through the wall. Please don't go through the wall. Because I know I should have blocked it, and I don't.
Where you're worried about flying through the wall.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh man, I know I'm out of range, but this guy might hit me anyway. And then the funny part is, when you get hit, you do get launched a little bit.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I think, oh, please only be like 1 second. But then I go back like 2-3 seconds, and I just think, oh, Jesus Christ, I'm not next to a wall, thank God.
Yeah, I would have flown through it.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah, so the banners are some of that. Another thing that causes clipping too, and you could see that in the VODIC, it's the Anthrax 2.0. I think it's the build video, and at the end I did a little clip.
The one that's like 50 minutes.
Yeah, and at the end of the video, you can see a little blooper in there where I'm going to heavy attack one of the guards up in the districts on the flag, and the guard blocks it, and it's like it ricochets me, and I just start floating away, just through walls, through everything, after he blocked my heavy attack. So,
Get good.
Exactly. Some weird stuff going on. Apparently, you don't want to heavy attack those guys. So, they'll send you to the moon, Alice.
Nice. Who's next? Is it me or you?
You. What do you got?
Okay, so I think this is my fourth one. I think whatever happens in the districts should affect the sewers. And by that, I mean, when you capture a district in the Imperial City, there's, 33% Telvar gains
Yeah.
only within that district.
Yeah.
But I think what should happen is that 33% should apply down in the sewers as well.
Yeah.
Because I think that would be kind of cool to see that.
Yeah. So we
Trying to
know
think,
that
trying to think of a phrase to use here, but yeah.
to coordinate or correlate.
Yeah, something like that. So it might give people incentive to say EP is holding their districts, right? Might encourage more people to play down in the sewers.
What
say
if
they have like they have a 20-person guild, then like 10 of them are holding the districts and top, and then allowing the EP down in the sewers to farm and stuff like that. I think that might be kind of cool.
What if you hold all the districts, you get a plus 25% to that rare skin drop rate at Mullet Ball in middle?
Oh, that's good.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, that's a nice little spin on it too.
I mean, I've been down in the sewers PvPing and stuff since Imperial City came out. I've probably got that skin to drop 6 times in that many years. So
I've only seen it drop, I think, 3 times.
3 times in 1 year.
In one full year, yeah.
3 times in 1 full year, and we're down there all the time. So yeah. So a plus 25% drop rate on that if you own all the districts up top. Ooh.
Or each district that you own just adds 5% increased drop rate for that Zivkin rune box or whatever the heck it is.
Yeah, it's the Soul Shriven, right?
Soul Shriven? Yeah, I think of it. Yeah, Zivkin. Is it Zivkin Soul Shriven?
I
Or
think
is
it's
it
Soul Shriven.
Soul
But
Shriven? Okay.
there's Zivkin skins down there too that you could purchase with Telvar at the vendor. So, and apparently they are a random or super rare drop through the bosses down there too, because one guy said that he got one of those drops off of a boss. He's like, oh my god, I just got this drop off this boss, and it was like one of those 800,000 gold, 200k Telvar skins. And I was like, I've never seen that drop off of any of these guys, and I kill these guys all day every day. So
if that guy wasn't just trolling and it's actually true, I think that would be cool. Because to your point, yeah, we kill banners a lot, and
yeah.
I have never seen that drop from a banner at all.
Yeah, it would officially have a worse drop rate than the Soul Shriven skin from Molag Bal.
Yeah, especially with how often we've killed banners compared to Molag Bal.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. They should probably increase the rewards for killing Molag Bal. Like really, 4 gold, and
I think mostly because it's not really about the gold, right? The gold is just kind of there. Yeah, it's the Telvar and all that other type of stuff.
Yeah, at least make them drop like 5 or 10 of the ornate pieces or something that, I don't know.
Or maybe have there be some sort of buff or something that you can collect, and then say you have to do this. You have to, if you're AD, you have to capture, or say you have to go to each of the sky shard locations, and you have to go grab this Molag Bal buff. And if you have all 6 buffs for all 6 of the sky shards, then you go to the middle, get the 7th sky shard, and now you have increased drop rate when you fight Molag Bal.
Yeah, you could.
That would be kind of cool. So then you're encouraged to collect everything, and then if you want to use it, fight Molag Bal with those buffs, and you have increased drop rate for whatever it is that you want. That way you're encouraging a lot of traffic all over the sewers, and then also you're encouraging people to fight Molag Bal. And hey, if you get killed, you lose your buff. Sorry.
Yeah.
So that's gonna put a lot of risky situations in there for people, because now people can just wait down in the center, have somebody go around, collect all the buffs, all that Telvar, because if you go back to base, you lose your buff. You go to the districts, you lose your buff. So you have to stay in the sewers the whole time. So if you go back to base, you lose it. You go back to, if you die, you lose it. And if you go up to the districts, you lose it. I think honestly, I like that idea a lot. Heard it here first.
I would attach it to the continuous attack buff that you get from capturing the districts up top, because it lasts for 10 minutes and you'd have to get on your horse and go quick you'd have to capture a district and then immediately drop down into and get to the middle. But I would do that. I would attach it to the continuous attack, because grabbing the sky shards is a one time. If you don't grab them all,
Oh, I'm not saying you have to grab the sky shard. I'm just saying like where the sky shard locations are have
Mhm.
like another little statue thing, like a Molag
Oh, okay.
Bal thing. Yeah. Just put something there that you have
Like a
to
little
just
shrine
activate.
that you pray at or something like that.
Yeah, to get the
Interact-
Molag. Yeah, to get the Molag Bal buff. Yeah, some interactable statue.
Okay, that'd be
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Just have it. And I just say the sky shard locations because they're so spread out, and it's forcing you to go deep into enemy territory to get these things, and then you have to go back to the center to use the buff and hopefully get something good
Yeah.
and make it significant too, like 10, 20, 10% each, so that's a 70% chance of getting the drop rate. Meanwhile, so that sounds awesome, right? And then add on top of, okay, if you die, you lose the buff, you got to start again. So now you're encouraging bigger groups to go farm for this stuff. And now with how long you've been in the sewers, you're going to collect a lot of Telvar, your pockets are going to be full. Now you are just like big fat cows or whatever, and now there's lions that want to jump on you or something. And dude, I think an idea like that would really bring a lot of people down here. Yeah, especially since you're increasing the drop rate for a lot of people to
Yeah.
try and get something. So, and you take a risk. They're gonna have Telvar and everything, so I'm
Yeah.
down.
I don't think a lot of people know that you get that transluminal violet like dye.
What's that?
The transluminal violet is a dye that you get from killing Molag Bal.
Oh, really?
It's the one that makes your certain pieces of your armor look extremely gold and shiny.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that was a thing there. Yeah.
Yeah, transluminal violet. You'll get it on your first kill for Molag Bal. So some people go down there just to get that, and by chance they get a scamp or get,
The Soul Shriven skin.
yeah. But yeah. What else you got?
I mean, I'm so satisfied with that that interactable statue with Molag Bal that increased the drop chance. Instead of 10%, I'll say 5%. So you get a total of 35% chance increased drop rate for the Soul Shriven skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I think it should apply. So it's not. So say we both have 35%. We both shouldn't get one. I think it should only drop one. It'll be almost a guaranteed drop the more people have it in the group, but only one person gets it.
yeah.
I think that would be fair, because I think the last thing we want is we go with 4 people that each have 35%. We all get a Soul Shriven skin.
Yeah.
That
So
seems a bit
let's say we
much.
got a group of 10. We all go up and get our buffs, and then we get down there and we disband our group and fight Molag solo.
It's only going to drop once.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So each
Yeah.
kill is only distributed one time.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. But hey, at that point, I know me and you, we probably won't do it too much if this was a thing, because we just know that there's going to be a bunch of people with their pockets full and
Yeah.
fights to be had, you
Yeah.
know?
We're gonna be whale hunting. That's what we're gonna be doing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And people are going to be running all the way down DC, all the way down EP, all the way down AD, because you can't leave the sewers. So it's going to be it's going to be pretty bloodthirsty, I think.
Yeah. Hey, I think that if they were to make a change like that too, they need to get rid of. I'm one of the biggest users of this, but they need to get rid of the ability to queue for Cyrodiil down in the sewers. So
Wait, to get rid of the ability?
yeah, I think they need to get rid of it. I've had so many people there's an add-on that allows you to queue. You just hotkey a button that will queue you for Cyrodiil, and they'll just disappear right in front of you. They need to get rid of that. They need to get rid
So
of.
I don't know. I don't. Okay, I will. I think I'll disagree on that, because I know that we've been in a situation me more times than you, where we have to just queue out because this guy, they're either unkillable, we're not going to get away, or something crazy is happening. So we have used that.
Oh yeah,
I don't think it's an exploit or anything. It's just part of the game.
it's part
But
of the game. But in that fashion, it's cheese, and we've cheesed it before. You know, we've got like 40 guys chasing us through the sewers, and I'm like, queue out, queue out, queue out. You know, and
yeah,
we've already killed like 4 of them, and we've got like 12k Telvar on us, and so yeah. But along the same lines about whale hunting,
you'll see whales queuing out out in the sea.
you still got to make it back to harbor.
Right.
You still got to make it back to harbor. And what do you say about Telvar?
It's not yours until you bank it.
Not yours until you bank it. So they need to get rid of that, the ability to queue for, or at least attach it to you can't queue if you're in combat. Right?
Yeah. Okay. All right. I think I'll be all right with that one.
Yeah.
I think. Oof. I don't know, man. So just because I know I use it, and even if I'm in combat, it still gets me out of a bind.
Uh-huh.
So, and as a support player, I can't just kill mobs very easy and then start my queue. I have to actually oof, I don't know.
Outrun them and lose aggro.
Which wouldn't be an issue on some characters, but sometimes, if I'm on Senna, I'll just, wait till I get my ultimate, pop the shield discipline, and then while I'm constantly blocking for 8 seconds, I'll just queue up while they're banging on me, and then
You
just
know what
hold
this
out.
inadvertently does? It brings immense value to Vampire. While
Oh,
you're you stealth, you know, a level phase 4 Vampire.
I guess you could. So you can, while you're sprinting, you stealth, and then you can also access the screen and stuff while you're still sprinting.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you stealth for a short while, you still might be in combat, but then because they lost visual of you, it'll break combat fairly quick, and then you can easily queue. So now there's value for being a stage 4 vampire outside of the immense fire damage that you take and ability cost that you have, because those are great perks too.
I was gonna say I can sense the sarcasm there.
Right? God, I can't wait to be a stage 4 vampire.
It's
Woohoo!
gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be great.
Let's see what else. So, yeah, I think that would be my one of my a cool addition, quality of life improvement maybe for. I honestly, my other wish list was gonna be maybe do very low key, low effort Imperial Sewer events just to get more people down here on a monthly basis. But honestly, if they just made those interactable Moloch ball statues that gave you a buff so that you get increased chance to get this thing, I think I'd be all right with that.
That might be enough to generate more traffic down to it.
Yeah, because there's going to be the PvE groups that are, hey guys, we're going to try and do a soul-driven run. They're going to queue up with like 15, 20 guys, and they're going to go through the sewers, plow through and stuff, and now it's like, okay, you got 20 people, let's see how many we can kill.
Yeah.
So I think that would be kind of cool. So yeah, I think I'd be all right with that. In my monthly IC event, maybe just have double Telvar drop from the banners. Just something super simple. No need to have 3-4 different servers of Imperial City, all that stuff. No, just do something not once a month, but like one weekend. Say the last weekend of every month. Just have all the banners have double Telvar drop. That's it. Double Telvar and double XP.
Here's a question.
That's it.
Do you know the drop rate of Telvar on the world bosses up in the districts?
The drop rate, or how much Telvar they drop?
How much Telvar they drop?
Is it 10K?
I don't know. If
I think it's 10K, but I hear people coming back. They kill one world boss and they get like 30K or something. I guess if the district buff is active.
Yeah, so plus 33%,
It's
but
it's definitely several thousand though.
yeah, so here's the thing. Would you say that some of the banners down below, depending on who you run into, are on par with the world bosses up top in the districts? As far as mechanics or damage output or, why are the banners down below when you run into a double banner frost necrotic with who summons the totems? Why is that guy worth 200 Telvar, or whatever it is, but then you go up in the district and you get 2,500,
Right. So
So,
if I guess because the world bosses, they're physically bigger, except for maybe the Daedroth. He's just a regular Daedroth. So aside from that,
Baron,
and who?
Baron, he's the kind of like that boss down below on DC side that has the wings.
The wings
Yeah,
on DC side. Oh, he's Oh, okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. He looks like the Imperial City Prison dungeon
yep,
boss. Yeah,
yep,
okay. Because I know we usually just two-man the banners, so
yeah,
they're not really that much of a problem. But two-manning a world boss in the districts would be. I think we could kill a banner a little bit faster than killing a world boss, but the world boss mechanics are definitely a lot crazier, I think, compared to the world boss, the banner bosses down in the sewers. And also, there's way more people in general in the districts, but that doesn't mean people can't solo the bosses. A lot of people solo the bosses, so that's
yeah.
not a problem.
So
But
it's a
people,
word thing. You're up in the districts. There's more traffic up here, so you might as well get more loot.
yeah, and I think soloing a world boss up in the districts might actually somehow be easier, or more, not even easier. I think more people would rather solo a world boss up top because you get 10,000 Telvar if you solo it versus only getting 1,000
Yeah,
by yourself or something like that. Well, we just killed a boss earlier this morning. I think we got like 600 apiece,
yeah,
and that was only with a 1x multiplier.
right.
Which of course the multiplier depends on the multiplier will dictate how much Telvar you got, in addition to how many people you're splitting it with in the party. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I remember I have a video. I think it's called Frostfang's Wolf Things, and I was using my Frostfangs 2.0 build, so it's like really good at 1vxing or fighting outnumbered. And I was just going up by myself. I'm fighting solo, and I'm just fighting the world bosses. And I'm like, I'm just going to ignore everyone. And then if they try and attack me, I'm going to kill them. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just up here to fight world bosses. And if you guys try and fight me, then I'll have to eat your face. So I got some really good clips of that, just acting like I'm minding my business. I see the yellow here. I see the DC over here. I'm not going to mess with you guys. Don't mess with me. Oh, you're going to try and kill me? Okay, well, now you got to die. So fun little encounters.
Hmm. That's all I had on my list. I know you got a couple on yours. We could just run through those.
Yeah, I've got the buff rework for vampire skill line, buff or rework vampire skill line. So I feel like vampire's lacking. You got all these negatives for vampire, taking more flame damage and ability cost increases, and there's maintenance involved with vampire, like upkeeping your stages, because you have your vampire level deteriorates, right? Regresses, and you have to feed regularly. So you have to put extra work into maintaining whatever level of vampire that you want, and you're taking more fire damage, and your abilities cost more. I mean, I don't know that the trade-off for taking more fire damage and having higher ability cost is worth the fact that you could be a vampire a vampire overlord for 20 seconds. It's very strong when you could be a werewolf almost indefinitely. You
Mm-hmm.
know, But the vampire has access to other class abilities or weapon abilities. You still use your regular rotation. You can bar swap and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, well, I can use these class abilities or weapon abilities, but I have more cost to use these abilities because I am a vampire. And I have to be even more careful because I take more damage from flame damage. So I'm not sure that the risk, that grape is not worth the squeeze, in its current circumstances. Now, if you're a Nightblade and you're trying to stealth around and you want the stage 2 vampire perk or whatever, more spell damage or weapon damage coming out of stealth, that's nice. I'm not saying mist form is not nice on vampire. They're primary spammable. Some people use it. I think Sinful Duck was using it. He liked it, but he called it his back scratcher ability, because the animation on it was kind of lame and, but it's melee. Ultimately, what I'm getting at, though, is that was supposed to be a vampire patch, the new
What's the joke people say? The best thing that came out of Vampire Patch where that werewolves are OP.
werewolves. Yeah, the best thing that came out of that was werewolves. Yeah. So I think that they need to go back and look through that, because I tell you this, when somebody goes into Scion form, vampire overlord form, get away.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
They can bring the heat during that time frame. But what happens to them 20 seconds after they're done? Like when it's over, that you just kill them after that, right? So there's a problem there. And so I hope that they revisit that and rework it. And whatever team that was working on Team Vampire or whatever, like, you could afford to get rid of the additional fire damage or the skill cost. At least get rid of the additional skill cost. Keep the fire damage, you're a vampire or whatever, but the skill cost.
Yeah, because I think the fire damage would be more on par with how werewolves take poison damage.
Yep.
So I think that'd be fair.
Perfect. Yeah, but the skill cost, no. And maybe they even look at a situation like with werewolf, that if you're a stage 4 vampire, so we're risk and reward, but if you're a stage 4, just like with werewolf, you can stay in vampire indefinitely as long as you're feeding. Right?
So I guess how would you feed now? I guess you'd have to be, as long as you're stealth and you attack a mob, you can feed off the mob or something like that.
Yeah. If you're just behind them, it triggers like a little X icon and it says feed, and then it does an animation. So if you're in vampire overlord form,
dude, that sounds so scary, man. Like, I could run away from a werewolf, no problem, but running away from, like, well, we'll say a group of werewolves versus a group of Scion gargoyles, whatever. Like the vampire part sounds so scary. Oh my god. Because that form is already super strong for the 20 seconds, but now you're saying it's damn near permanent or on par with the duration of the length of a werewolf state.
Yeah, if
Good
you're
Lord.
stage 4 and you're taking whatever that additional flame damage is, yeah. So
Jesus, dude.
I'd be fine with that. If you're not going to fix the skills, you're not going to do anything with its current skills and just say, no, this is their kit, then at least make stage 4 the risk and reward. Stage 4 can stay indefinitely as long as they're feeding. Same as a werewolf. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I like my old idea, making it like a coven type system. So it actually matters who turned you into a vampire, so that when you're in a party with the person who turned you, then you get little benefits or bonuses, or not benefits or bonuses. The negatives that come when you're solo are actually reduced when you're together.
I love it.
Yeah, so say we keep those increased ability costs when you're solo, but when you're in a group with the person who turned you, now that cost goes down by 1. And if you're with another person who's in your coven family, that goes down by another 1. and then obviously it'll stack up to 4. Same thing with the werewolves and stuff. So I think that would be a pretty cool change.
Yeah, and it's not much to ask for because I believe there's a function already in the game similar to that for werewolves.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a group with a pack leader, you get certain buffs. And if you're in a group with the pack leader, it becomes easier to stay or maintain your werewolf form.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, because I don't think there's anything about vampires living solo. They have families. They're people too.
Yep.
They care about each other to some extent.
Yeah. So that's what I had for vampires. Another thing too is, so if anybody knows this to be true, or if you've heard anything about it, put something in the leave a comment. I'm interested to hear what everybody's take is on this. But Icy and I were talking a little earlier, and I said, man, I wish that they would remove the funny quotes from Battlegrounds where they're basically talking trash every time you die. It's like, are you even trying? I think that's one of them. It says,
Or hey, blocking helps.
or blocking helps. In pen really, really helps. And for me, I always thought that it was the devs trying to be funny. It was whoever, it's in the dialogue on your death recap, so it's got to be them. And then Icy was talking to somebody, and this is what they said.
Yeah, so my buddy Levi, he was showing me a picture where he had he got beat down by some crazy score or whatever, and he's like, can you believe this? And one of the tips was like, get good. And I thought, oh, maybe you should read the tip there and just get good or something. And then he told me, oh no, that's just part of an add-on that they snuck in there to just troll people and stuff. So I've never confirmed this myself by turning off all my add-ons, doing a BG or a duel, and then having that tooltip come up and then seeing if it's gone or not. But yeah, maybe that's a thing. Maybe it's not. I don't know.
And when we say they, it's not the devs. It's an add-on that somebody, maybe it's Master Merchant, or maybe it's Combat Metrics, whatever, similarities, whatever.
Yeah, it's just something that's not part of the actual description, I don't think, and they just stuck in there as like an Easter egg to troll people.
Yeah. So can anybody confirm this? Do you know anything about it? I'm interested to hear if so. So another thing about Battlegrounds is I thought for sure that they were going to do single player queues and then group queues. I didn't see anything that changed that. You were supposed to be able to queue as a single player, and you would be in a BG with other players that are solo, or you queue as a group, 2 or more, 2 to 4, and now you'll be placed with other people that are partied up. And I was running a BG, and I'm solo, and I got the inclination that these guys, I was like, man, these guys are just really well coordinated. And some people just simply know how to BG well. They know how to work as a team, ult dump, and do everything. But I was like, man, these guys are just really coordinated. Really coordinated. What the heck? And so I did a couple more BGs, and then I end up in a group with the same guys, two of them specifically. And I remember that they were on the same team together, always running around, and they were hard to kill, but I got them. But I asked them when they were in the group with me, I said, hey, are you guys in a group? And the guy was like, heck yeah, we are. And I was like, interesting. Like, because I'm solo and I'm getting put in groups with, this isn't me crying, by the way, about, oh, poor Grim getting put in BGs with teams, like, if that's going to happen, that's fine. But at least let's be clear. There is no solo queue. You can queue solo, but you will be placed in a BG with other people that are all in teams together. Let's be clear about that if that's the way it is. And so I thought that very interesting.
Yeah, so there was supposed to be 2 queues, and if you wanted to solo queue in the group queue, then you would be placed on maybe a 3-man team or something like that.
Right.
But that's not even a thing. There's just only one queue.
Yeah. So there we are. I'm out there queuing solo and getting put in groups. So, but I guess that could just as easily work to my benefit. So what if I got put in a group with 3 guys that are all in comms together and they're coordinated? At least my team's carrying its weight, right? So
You'd hope.
I can go out there and do the stupid stuff that I do, with no weapons and punching people. So, so yeah, single player group queues, that was one. Another topic was they need to nerf Crimson. They need to nerf Crimson. It's free damage and free heals. And that's just, is there any bigger of a crutch that we can give people in a PvP scenario than that set right there? And the thing about it is, if they're surrounded by 5 NPCs, we're not going to kill them. They're getting 100% of the damage that Crimson does to those guys, to the NPCs. 100% of the damage is going to heal them. Now, if it hits you or I, it's only going to hit us for half the amount, so it's half the heal. And so that's what I'm running into, are these freaking unkillable people running around with Crimson.
Right.
You need to nerf the set. It's stupid. It's just the dumbest thing. It's an absolute crutch. And so anyways, as soon as we leave here, I'm going to make like 5 Crimson builds. Yeah.
Yeah. So my only thing with Crimson is, obviously, we just need to be prepared for the Crimson users when they do show up. Because just depending on the situation, if it's just one guy and he thinks he could 1v2 or 1v3 or whatever, yeah, we'll let him know who's the boss around here, down the sewers or whatever. But for me, I just wish they just separated PvP gear and PvE gear. And by that I mean just remove anything, or they removed anything that does proc set damage. Or not removed anything. If they disabled proc sets that do damage in a PvP zone, I think that's what I would just prefer.
Yeah.
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 I think that's really it. Yeah. Because it would make life easier in terms of, I think, balance and everything.
It would be way easier to balance PvP if you weren't if as a developer you're not fighting against all the different content creators and creativity of players throwing together different sets.
Yeah, because if we're all running Crimson, I mean, yeah, it's funny.
Well, do you remember that
together? Yeah, they had a 4-man Crimson team.
Yeah, you want to talk about the dumbest thing ever, and we're gonna need to do it, but
I mean, I know those guys were probably having a blast, laughing their ass off.
laughing super hard, but they're all running Crimson, and if it wasn't my proc set going off, it was his proc set going off. If it's not his, it's the other guy. You got 4 people stacked on top of one another, moving around as a ball group, and just bang, 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 Crimson explosions going off, free heals coming in, and their Crimson proc sets were so much pressure on anybody that got close. And I think they were even Necros, weren't they? They were all Necros going into Necro form.
Yeah, in Goliath. Yeah.
Goliath form. They were going into Goliath form, the Hunger Goliath or whatever that has the AoE.
Whenever one guy was in it or came out of it, the next guy would go in it.
Yeah. I mean, this is what PvP, this is what battlegrounds are right now. So I think that a developer, or I think somebody that has say or can make changes, they need to jump into battlegrounds right now and get a real good feel for what's being abused in the battlegrounds right now. Crimson 100% is one of those abilities. Free damage, free healing.
Yeah, but Grim, why are you complaining, man? You could use the sets too.
Well, I'm going to abuse the hell out of it. I'm gonna put together some filthy Crimson builds and release them, and we're gonna get so many people complaining about Crimson that they're gonna have to do something about it. That's what we're gonna have to do. And I hate that. Like, I don't want to put Crimson builds together, but now I have.
It does sound kind of boring.
Yeah, now I have to. So.
Yeah, I don't know in what world is everybody running the same sets healthy for gameplay.
Yeah,
or
as far
PvP.
as build diversity, it's not.
Yeah. Well, not even build diversity, just healthy gameplay. If that was happening in League of Legends, where you have your DPS, you have your support, you have your mid laner, top laner, jungler guy. If you have all 5 of those different classes running the one item on all 5, that wouldn't stand at all. That'd probably be a thing for maybe a couple weeks, and then they're gonna be like, yeah, the next patch cycle, we saw that everybody was using this set, so we're gonna change it completely because that's not how we want this game to be.
Bingo. That right there. And okay, so I know this for a fact. I could talk to some of my friends who are Crimson wearers, and they're Crimson wearers because they're like, it's freaking broken. Free damage, free heals. I mean, gotta run with it until they fix it. But if I asked them, is Crimson cheese? They'd say, hell yeah, Crimson's cheese. They would. But there's gonna be, I don't know what percent, 10%, 20% of people out there that are like, oh, you're just a PvPer crying about an armor set because you can't face it or you don't like to face it or whatever. And it's like, I don't even know what to say to that person. Like, you're wrong. You're wrong. It's not that I don't like facing Crimson. It's the fact that it is cheese and it is overpowered and it's an absolute carry for a lot of really bad players. That's why I don't like it. So
yeah, I think I like my idea where you just disable the 5th line on any set that has a proc damage in a PvP zone. I think that would solve our problems.
Yeah. I don't think any of your major content creators are going to say free damage and free heals seems balanced to me. Right? So
yeah.
But let's see, what else do I got? So I think we're going on year 7 of the game being out. I think it's probably time to go through each one of the classes and have both the stamina and magicka version of each class ability. We're going on.
Yes.
We're going on year 7. Why is this not a thing? We don't have a stamina whip for DK. Like, what's going on with DK? Like, it's as far as you could be a stam DK, and it's one of the most magic and hungry classes. Because your buffs are magic. You're like
even on a necro, yeah, there's like the buff. They have one that's a 4,000 magicka cost, and then one's a 2,000 magicka cost.
Yeah,
that would be kind of cool for. Well, actually, I say that, and then I think about the DK costs for volatile armor, 100 armor. Those are only like 2,000, right?
Yeah,
that's not too bad. All right, never mind.
Well, I would say when you're talking about necromancers, for class identity, they have abilities that cost health instead of magic or stamina. But it's the second you start adding free abilities like Netch for a warden, as soon as you start adding free abilities into the game, those classes become. Is there any free abilities on DK?
No.
In their class? No. What about Templar? Any free abilities?
The cheapest one I think is the rune that helps you restore stamina or magicka depending on the morph.
Yeah, the
I think that one's like 800 or something.
Abilities that you get on that skill line too. What about Sorcerer? Any free abilities?
I feel like there's one, right? I know the ultimate. Well, was it overload is 25, so that might be the cheapest for an ulti, but
Yeah.
the was dark deal? No. I don't really know the Sorc too much, but yeah, no, I don't think they have any free abilities.
So is this at what point do we get to where pay to win is brought up as a, your necromancers and your wardens that came with DLC are classes that are easier to sustain. They're newer classes. They're like, at what point is that absolutely considered pay to win?
So I see it. Your next one there is to talk about adding a new class or whatever. I would honestly not even bother adding a new class and just do a quality of life improvement on all the existing stuff.
Absolutely.
Why add a new thing when everything's still kind of messed up or it needs a lot of work? Still needs to be polished. I think I would much rather prefer that.
Yeah. Well,
because if you add a new class or race, whatever it's going to be, it's going to make the game even worse.
Yeah.
Because now it's got to balance all these other different things, and this new class is adding a whole bunch of new elements to the game. It's just going to break everything, I think.
Yeah. Could be. So what he's talking about is my next topic was add a new class or weapon line, and something along the lines of spell sword or a spell shield or whatever you want to spell. It's you can hold a one-hand weapon in one hand and cast abilities in the other, and cast, either
like Gandalf.
Yeah, like Gandalf, and so I think that would be cool. I think that from a balancing standpoint, if it were a class, then you just need to, the same way they made the vampire skill line, you'd make a class skill line that allows for this type of gameplay, and you just need to balance that. But all the math that comes with it and checks and everything, I'm sure it would just add to the brokenness of not being able to break free, not being able to bar swap, and things
I mean,
like that.
I that's funny that you brought up math because I'm pretty sure that they don't use any of that for any of the calculations here.
Maybe. I don't know. I wish I could be a fly on the wall and see what their meetings look like, and how
They're just throwing darts at a dartboard or something.
What?
there's like the bullseye says fix the game, but then everything else is just like adding like different places around Tamriel.
Yeah. And like half of the other things are like Crown Store.
Yeah. It's Crown Store every other marker, and then the other ones are just like which DLC patch are they gonna add or something like that. And then right in the center, the smallest bullseye is fix the game.
Yeah. And some of the guys we run with, they joke. They're like, break free and bar swapping is going to be a Crown Store item that you can purchase. Would you like 100% break free or 100% bar swapping on command? Just purchase it in the Crown Store.
I still think it's funny when I used to do Depths of Maltar in that hard mode or whatever. Whenever we get to the final phase of that boss, and you get teleported to that news area, my Crown Store always opens up every single time.
Well, there you go. There's a quality of life. I mean, isn't that the best time to? That's the best time to like just view the store and just.
Well, I thought I had to buy. I thought I had to buy something to finish the boss. Because like clearly whatever skill loadout and stuff, it's not enough. You want to, or even better, you could want to continue this boss fight. You gotta buy some crowns.
Oh my gosh! Like
that would
another
be
quarter in the machine.
yeah. That would be pretty hilarious. But so for the new weapons and skill lines, what I would like from that is add a barehanded or a brawler type.
A monk.
Well, not like a class monk. Well, so I wouldn't say. Well, monk would be, I think, a class. But what I'm saying is like another weapon line where it's just say like brass knuckles, bare knuckles. Okay, you wouldn't be barehanded, but I guess they would have to add a whole bunch of brass knuckles, I guess, or whatever, to just you kind of just put on your hands or whatever, because
Or like claws.
yeah, we're gonna need something to fill that unarmed slot so that you can access that skill line, and
Yeah.
it'll be like 5 passives, 5 skills, and an ultimate, all with like punching, even throwing some kicks in there. Yeah, or maybe don't even mention the kicks, maybe a kick ultimate or something. But the that would be kind of cool. But
Yeah.
since they already have the fist animations, yeah, I guess they put in like 2 buffs and like 3 actual abilities or something like that. I think it would be kind of cool. One's like an uppercut knockup. The other one's like
Headbutt.
a headbutt or something. And then
Yeah, like your Wilson Fisk from.
yeah, just whatever. Like there's so many ideas that you could do for that. But I think if there's gonna be any sort of class or weapon thing, there should be an unarmed section.
Yeah.
And now, if you think about it, with all the weapons and skills and stuff, they're gonna have to make brass knuckles for every single gear set in the game.
Yeah.
Which that's gonna be quite the feat, because everything's got a style as well to it, so it's got to match all that type of stuff. Which I'm sure they could figure out, because they do it all the time with everything else. So,
Yeah.
but I guess, well, actually, with
it'd be less. It'd be less work for them to do that than every time they add a brand new motif or style, armor style to the game.
Yeah.
You got to make that armor style for every single item in the game, So.
Yeah. And of course, this would be all stamina, and you could, dude. I like the uppercut knockup. You could do like a charge up, like heavy attack stun or something, or your heavy attacks like stun the target or something ridiculous.
So
I don't know.
instead of being like D swing, it's like the uppercut, like the combat uppercut.
What do you mean?
Or like Dragon Uppercut from Street Fighter. These are all too old of games for you.
Oh yeah, a little bit before my time. Like not a like a Hasen Shuriken or something like that.
Hadouken. Yeah, that's like shooting a fireball or Dragon Uppercut.
Yeah, I think it's not Ryu. Is it Ryu?
Ryu and Ken. Yeah.
Yeah. Which one's the red guy with the blonde hair?
That's Ken.
Okay, yeah, I think it's Ken. Yeah, with the uppercut.
Yep. Yeah, both of them have it. Both Ryu and Ken, but so Ryu's specialty is the uppercut and the fireball, and Ken's is the spinning multiple kicks. I forgot what that one's called, but yeah.
He does the kicks? I thought Ken did the kicks.
Nope.
Because I know. Well, I thought they both do the Hadouken. They both do the Hadouken, I know.
Yeah, they both can do all those abilities, but each one of them has a specialty that hits harder than, like, if you do it on Ryu as opposed to Ken, Ryu's hit harder, have a different animation to them.
Okay. So I wonder, maybe they should add kicks in there too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool, because then I could make a Chun-Li or something. That'd be pretty dope. Yeah. So you could do like...
I'd make Bruce Lee.
Yeah, Bruce Lee would be pretty cool. And you get new personalities or animations and stuff you could go along with it. That'd be kind of cool. So
I want one where you do you cross your legs and you're doing like the aum.
Oh, you're actually floating.
And you're floating.
Kind of like Ganesha's ultimate in Smite.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one right there.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, is that everything on the wish list for 2021?
I think so. Let me look through here real quick. Go through class. Oh, one last thing is there's some type of issue with, for the people that are using mouse and keyboard, when they are hotkeying or binding their abilities to their mouse. So for instance, I'm using the Corsair Scimitar Pro mouse, and it's got 12 programmable buttons on the thumb. Okay. And so what I do is I hotkey or program the number 1 on there to be my number 1 from the keyboard, number 2, number 3, whatever. And I've played like that for the longest time. And I've actually taught people to, they ask me, like, how are you able to do all this? Because it's really hard when I'm training somebody, one of the first things I notice is if they stop moving when they're activating abilities, and then that tells me that they're like, let's say they're right-handed, the right hand's on the mouse, left hand is moving using A, W, and D. If they stop moving, it's because their hands are going up to the 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 to actually activate abilities, and that will get you killed in PvP, or even PvE, fighting banners. And so the people that are keyboard and mouse players and they don't want a controller, I've told them, oh yeah, check this mouse out. It works really well. Well, Papa, a friend of mine, and then Rotten, another guy, a friend of ours that's in Discord, just recently, they started having the same problems that I've had with abilities desyncing. I just did a video a couple days ago too. What was the name of that video, Icy? Oh, Working as Intended.
Yeah.
Working as Intended. Icy and I get in a really fun fight down in the sewers, outnumbered 2v4 or whatever, and these guys are skilled. So we had to rotate and we had to kind of stretch it out a little bit, and they were trying to get the res off. It was a lot of fun until my number 1 button desynced. And not only could I not use jabs on my mouse, but the number 1 button on the keyboard, because I would have made do. If it just desynced from the mouse and it was still attached to the keyboard, I would have made it work. But gone, just gone. Couldn't use the ability at all. And man, I was pretty mad. So that's happening on a like just random abilities. Sometimes it's not the 1, sometimes it's the 3 button, sometimes it's the 4, and there's just an individual ability desync. I don't think it has anything to do with the ability, what ability it is or what button it is. So somebody can't say it sounds like your mouse is defective. I'm not going to rule that out, by the way, but I have 2 of these and I've switched them out to see, and I still run into the same problem. So maybe it's a communication problem with ZOS and key binding abilities to the mouse or something like that. But I wish that they would figure out the root of the evil, like iron out what that problem is, because it's happening to other people. And I've got videos. It was in the same video that Working as Intended. This has happened way more than just that video, but I just threw those in there. No abilities were working. And if you watch that ESO Working as Intended, you can actually see me pressing the abilities down at the bottom. I'm just standing there and I'm pressing the abilities, or I'm pressing my ultimate. Nothing is working, but you can see the ability bar, what ability I'm pressing, and there's no action happening. It's just not working. So you can't say that my mouse, key binding wise, there's a problem with my mouse and the key bind. It's not that. Otherwise, when I press the number 1 ability wouldn't be pressing in those videos, right? The mouse is working. I press 1, the ability presses, it just doesn't fire. So I don't think it's a problem with the mouse. I think it's a problem with ESO, and there's something desyncing all of your abilities, individual abilities or all of your abilities. And I don't know that this has ever happened to Icy, who uses a controller, but I use mouse and keyboard. And everyone else that I know that uses mouse and keyboard, that PvPs regularly, this has happened to them at least once.
Well, when you say mouse and keyboard, not just mouse, because I have a mouse and keyboard, and when I say mouse and keyboard, I mean my mouse is literally just got 2 buttons and a mouse wheel. That's it.
Yeah, you don't hotkey your mouse to do any activities. You use your keyboard for fighting.
Right. I mean, but all I can do is left click, right click, and mouse wheel. That's all I can do on my mouse. It's very, very simple.
Yep.
So, the mouse and keyboards that you're talking about somebody who's got a programmable mouse.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think that distinction should probably be made in these types of things, because some of those situations I've kind of experienced a little bit this past week, where I load into the sewers, didn't even leave the base yet, just load in.
Oh yeah.
Can't use abilities, nothing. And then I'm like, what the heck's going on here? I put
I
my
forgot
controller
about that.
down. Yeah, I put my controller down. I just press abilities on my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on my keyboard. Everything works fine. But I can't do nothing with my controller. So then I just disconnect it, put it back in. Everything works fine.
Yeah. And I think that scenario is a little different than what I showed in that video. Because in the video, you can actually see me. I'm not using my keyboard to press those buttons. When you see me pressing the ultimate and pressing the 2, the 3, the 4, just standing there getting attacked but trying to use abilities, I'm using my mouse. And the game registering that I'm hitting those. It's just simply not doing the abilities. So,
yeah, no, that was the same thing that was happening to me when I loaded in. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And the only way I could fix it was I had to disconnect my
Yep.
controller and reconnect it, and then
Yep.
it was fine again.
Yep.
So
And so for me, you know what? I haven't tried unplugging the mouse and plugging it back in. The answer has always been, so I've tried shutting the game down, and then I've tried reload UI. Reload UI does not work. So they can't say, well, it's a UI problem or something like that, or maybe they won't say that. That's their first go-to, and then I'll say it's not, because I reload UI and it's still a problem. You also cannot log out of the game and then log back in. It still won't work after you log back in. I actually have to reload, like shut down and restart my computer for it to work in that game. Now I could turn around and go to a different game. I could load up Smite and it works just fine. I can load up whatever, but it stopped communicating to Elder Scrolls Online. So I don't know what that's all about.
yeah, it might be worth trying to do what I did and just disconnect your mouse next time that happens and see if just doing that works.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that next time actually.
Yeah.
And then watch. I won't be able to move at all. Or abilities. It'll be right in the middle of a fight. You're like, "Are we gonna bail?" And I'm like, "I can't. I'm just stuck here."
Like you can still AWD and then hold shift to like sprint and stuff, and I think you might be able to roll dodge too, but you're gonna be only looking in one direction.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like side shuffling down the hallway, like
Yeah. Just look at your mini map as you're staring in one direction and doing it, moving everywhere you need to go.
Dude, that sounds like a funny video waiting to happen.
Yeah. Actually, can you change your direction if you use your arrows?
No.
Oh, the arrow keys act as AWD.
Yeah. No, I have my arrow key set up for zooming in the camera or zooming out now.
Oh, okay.
Because I set my scroll down to break free, so that way it clicks it 10 times on a single scroll down.
Okay.
And weapon swap is scrolling up because those are the abilities that I have the most problems getting to work. So.
Copy. Okay. Well, I think that's everything. Any final remarks before we close out?
Hey, I think that let's just assume by happenstance, if you stayed here this long, what if
if you listened for the last hour and a half?
What if a dev or somebody of importance watches this video, okay? And they go through and they read the comments below. So let's assume that's going to happen. Let's just magically say that's going to happen. So if you're running into some of these problems that we talked about or whatever, or different problems, could you put those in the comments below so that way we could have enough reading content for them to start putting all of our Christmas lists together? So
yeah, that would be pretty neat.
That would be.
But I guess kind of like what we were talking about before, where saying I've experienced a problem is one thing, but then able to show reproducible data is another. And I think that would have more value too. Because I know when people, just like in real life, people ask you, hey, I got this problem. Can you go check it out? You go there, everything looks fine.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about. So,
Hey, if they ask me, hey, if they're like, hey, Grim, could you download this software, whatever it is? So it's like Icyfire, or I don't even know. I made that up. But it basically does a log. You would think that this is in the game somewhere. Okay. But they're like, hey, would you download this? And then every time you run into one of these problems, hit this button on this, on this software, hit this button and that will note, it'll put a little timestamp that we know to look around that time frame that weird things were happening. And then maybe you could attach a note, no abilities were working, or, could not break free, or could not bar swap, and then they could go and look at the code during that time frame or look at whatever's happening, and maybe it'll give them a little insight as to the storm that's happening that's creating that. I would love to do that. If they, like, if you want me to download a third party something that's going to track it so I could help you figure out where these problems were, I'm all for that.
Yeah, I could see a bunch of security or privacy issues with that.
Not coming from the devs.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, well, if they just say, hey, if you want to be part of this like partner program or not like a partner program, but whatever program, just like helping us improve the game, whatever. We know we're gonna ask you just download this program, and then when you're playing ESO, you're obviously looking for bugs. Make sure you have this playing in the background so it'll record your data or whatever, and then if you're successful in reproducing it, just make sure you save it and then just upload the log here, and then do it like that, and then we'll take a look and see whatever.
Absolutely.
That would be, I think that would probably be the way to go about it.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Or
with me not knowing too much about the whole thing.
Or what if they just asked us, hey, for the next month, would you guys mind playing in the PTS? We're just going to duplicate the current live server in the PTS. We're not testing anything new or any new mechanics or anything, but would you just play in the PTS? Maybe this is all set up already in the PTS in that fashion. I'd go. The problem is we wouldn't run into near the situations that we run into now, fighting outnumbered and things like that.
Oh yeah, no.
But I don't know. I would be all for downloading a third party or additional software if they wanted to track it. Absolutely, let's do it. Hook me up. How do we do this? So
I love the idea, but I've heard some things where some of the more influential content creators that actually do PTS and stuff, they've said things like, hey, like the light attack, heavy attack thing that happened in November. This has been an issue in the PTS. There have been multiple posts from a lot of people talking about this thing, and it still made it through.
Still went live, yeah.
And here we are, just trying to, make the sewers great again.
Yeah.
Why would they listen to us?
Why would they not?
Yeah. I don't know. I ain't trying to be a
negative Nancy.
Yeah, negative Nancy, Debbie Downer or whatever, but I don't know. I would like to
let us help.
I would like to resubscribe my ESO Plus.
Yes, I would too. But they got to make some changes. I got to see effort, So I got to see effort, and it can't be effort towards, well, the Crown Store was updated and this isn't a low blow. I understand sustainable business model, but I need to see effort between the Crown Store getting updated and this new DLC that's coming out. Let's fix some of the things that we talked about today. That would be great.
Dude,
effort.
Dude, let 2021 be the year of the great Tamriel reset. We should call that, make that the title of the of the podcast for this episode. The great Tamriel, or Cyrodiil, not Cyrodiil, Tamriel reset.
All right, 2021 Tamriel reset.
Yeah, no new DLC will be made. Just work on fixing everything.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. You think that's a good closer?
Yep.
Cool. All right, everybody. We'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.
See ya. You're going to say bye-bye, Argonians.
Bye-bye, Argonians.